A very good evening and a warm welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight on this 23rd day of October 2022. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto, but before we get into tonight's newscast, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In our headlines tonight, VP Alupo urges the Ateka to grow more fruits in Soroti as fruit factory expands. Nabanja camps in Mpigi arrests 2 district officials. UNEB sets tough guidelines against examination malpractice. And good evening once again. Welcome to UBC News Tonight. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Well, we'll start off this newscast with the Vice President Jessica Alupo joined fellow Christians for the Bishop of Soroti Diocese, Right Reverend Kosea Odong pastoral visit and confirmation ceremony in Katakwi district. Now, Major Alupo, who's also the woman MP for Katakwi district, urged the faithfuls to live healthy and careful lifestyles if they are to achieve their dreams. She encouraged the farmers to embrace passion fruit growing more fruits because government has already given 48 billion shillings towards the expansion of Soroti Fruit Factory. Take a look.
The factory was commissioned in 2019 and has recently started on expansion plans undertaken by the Uganda Development Corporation UDC. This expansion will see increased demand for supply from the farmers. Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo used the occasion to further popularize the Parish Development Model (PDM), a government strategy for organizing and delivering public and private sector interventions for wealth creation and employment at the parish level, which is the lowest economic planning unit for rural development.
Parish Development Model
Bishop Kosea Odongo, in his message, advised Christians to continue working hard to combat the poverty levels in households. The bishop also urged the congregation to promote the education of both the girl child and boy child to achieve full social and economic transformation. At the ceremony, the Vice President was accompanied by Honorable Rose Lily Akelo, the woman member of Parliament for Karenga, who also doubles as State Minister for Ethics and Integrity, and Bosco Okiror, the Member of Parliament for Usuku County, who also doubled as Chairperson of the Parliamentary Group. Etole Ed Akenjo, UBC News.
Now, 2 district officials from Mpigi and Ngoma are being held for interrogation after presenting inconsistent accountabilities on road construction works in the 2 districts. Now, this happened during a meeting called to discuss the state of roads and other social services in Mpigi, Butambala and Gomba districts. The meeting, which took place at Mpigi District Police Station Playground, was chaired by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja.
The long arm of the law is catching up with officials from Mpigi and Gomba districts who are being investigated over presenting inconsistent accountabilities on road construction works. The Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, accompanied by a cross-section of ministers, held a similar meeting in Luwero, Nakaseke and Nakasongola districts. The meetings are meant to address effective service delivery and challenges affecting the people across the country.
Oyo ingiri agenda akole statement. Tujja mujayecha oba ku Monday. Tudemu tuwetolole engudo zonna zatulaze wano muzakolebwa. Ate ajja kusesema esente ajja kuzikomyawo. Naye ffenna mwenna abali wano buli omu alina olubimbi okulaba nti ebintu ebyo ebiva mu gavumenti bitambula bulungi.
For example, esente ez'emyoga parish development model bwe twali tukisuubiza manifesto kitambula era kitambula kitya kati ffenaffe nga bwe tuli wano tuli mu kutunula okulaba emirimu gino nga bwe gitambula.
During the meeting, it was discovered that the chairman in Pigi district has overlapping responsibilities.
You are the chairperson of LC5. Now who is supervising who?
Madam Prime Minister, it is very right. Elections are roads committee. We are always guided by the technical officers, and the elections are from the member of parliament and members of the committee, and the elections happened. We stood and it was chosen to be chairperson, guided by the technical officers in that regard.
The ministers, who included local government minister Raphael Magezi and Haruna Kasolo of microfinance, advised Pigi LC5 chairman to give responsibilities to other people.
Obwa minister obwa finance n'obwenguudo buzito nnyo. Bulekere kansala bw'osigale oli waggulu waabwe ng'obalabirira abakye bakola. So chairman kwalo obuwabuzi bwa prime minister butuufu. Buli ba technical officers bwe banaakutegeera nti gwe ebyamateeka si byoliko bagenda kukola bye baagala.
A number of local leaders who attended the meeting contested some sections of the presentation.
Ne baleeta ebigoma ne bayiwamu ettaka naye oluguudo lwayiwamu ettaka terunalongooka. Ekimu ku kyo kirese obuzibu nguudo era mukama wange nkukakasa enguudo zonna bwe baziraze wano bazaakolebwa wabula gadibengaje.
Other issues brought to the attention of the Prime Minister included rampant land grabbing and theft of road equipment. Raphael Magezi, the local government minister, asked for a forensic audit of local revenue collection in Mpigi.
Omusuubuzi omwe bw'aba asasula $5,600 ekisoboka nti kayagwe yonna yonna esolooza $5,000,000 omwaka gwonna.
The state minister for water, Aisha Shekindi, encouraged the public to embrace environmental conservation.
Bwe tutalongoose butonde bwansi ne tuzaawo obutonde bw'ensi ne tubukuuma jealously ne tusimba emiti tukwatagana bulungi amazzi n'ago ge tubadde tuyina gagenda kukola ki?
The meeting was graced by the Vice Chairman NRM Buganda Region, Godfrey Kiwanda Sui, and Rose Namayanja, the NRM Deputy Secretary General, among others.
Now, the Uganda National Examination Board legal officer Anne Kimali has warned teachers and school administrators against engaging in examination malpractices or risk punishment. Now, Anne Kimali made remarks during the UNEB update with UBC, with a few days remaining for candidates to write their final exams.
Candidates now need prayers and guidance from the Almighty to succeed in their final examinations as they look forward to securing their future. This, however, has come with caution from Uganda National Examination Board as they prepare writing their examinations.
Tomorrow morning you're beginning with physics practical. That's the paper you're going to have in the morning. And we do expect all the candidates to be able to sit this examination, starting adding impersonation. This usually happens especially with the practical papers. This week we have a number of practical papers, chemistry, physics, and we want to caution the candidates once again not to get involved in malpractice, because you're definitely going to be caught by the law. However, we also want to encourage those who want to give us information. We have a whistleblowers policy which is going to protect you, and under this policy, once you give us correct information which eventually leads us to a malpractice case, you will be compensated, but most importantly, you're also going to be protected. No one is going to know that you're the one who gave us the information. So we want to encourage the members of the general public out there to please make use of the Whistleblowers Act. You can call us on our toll-free number, which is 08002 11077.
Kemari says cases of examination malpractices are to be prioritized by court.
We have a fine of 20 million or imprisonment, custodial sentence of 5 years. Okay? It can be either or it can be both, depending on the judicial officer. I want to clarify something. The public may be confused if that is the fine. How come the case that has just been concluded by court, the person was fined 4.8 million? This is because this person did not waste court's time. The moment she was brought on the stand, she pleaded guilty. So court considers different things. The magistrates use their discretion. Any other magistrate maybe would have even said, you pay the amount as stipulated in the act. But the magistrate used her discretion and decided to convict her on her own plea, a fine of 4.5 and 4.8 million, in default of which, or when she fails to pay, she goes to jail.
The Principal Public Relations Officer, Uganda National Examinations Board, Jennifer Musamba, cautioned candidates against examination malpractice.
Candidates want to urge you to be vigilant. Make sure that you don't get involved in cases of indiscipline, because once you do that, anything can happen. Having a UNEP index number or being a candidate of UNEP does not mean you're over and above the school rules and regulations. So I want to urge you to please be disciplined. Keep discipline, keep within the school rules and regulations, because short of that, you're going to be suspended. And
the public has also been asked not to contaminate their children with examination cheating theories. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Police in Mubende has arrested 10 people over floating presidential directives on Ebola. Now, this follows police deployment in Mubende and Kasanda districts, and according to Mubende Police Commander Tulikumwe Emmanuel, the culprits will be brought to book. Border riders have been urged to stay home during curfew hours. UBC News Tonight. Now, in March 2022, about 2,000 unaccompanied refugee children were received in Chisoro, out of whom 438 were transited to Nachivali refugee resettlement in Isingiro district. Now, it has been established that special attention is given to these children to ensure proper care and attention for.
It is because they were caught up in a conflict that saw them cross to Uganda from Democratic Republic of Congo. Such encouraging statements on their clothing tell them to worry less and smile more. But there is a devil in the detail. The facial expression tells a totally different story of young souls suffering consequences of actions caused by other people's political disagreements.
The main goal of child protection, it is to relocate children from the transit centers to the settlement. And when they reach here, the first thing we do, it is assessment for the children, because we want to find the protection needs of the children, and we support accordingly.
They are handled in 3 categories: those completely not accompanied by any adult, those whose relatives are not biological parents, and others with disabilities. Upon successful profiling and intensive technical interviews, they are relocated to different settlements.
We do refer them. There is a proper, clear referral mechanism right from the transit center to the settlements, whereby the different partners operating at the transit refer to their colleagues or even same organizations.
On arrival in settlements, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, alongside other humanitarian agencies, takes over the responsibility.
And then when they come to Nakivale, we are doing a comprehensive BIA to understand their needs and also to understand whether they have relatives or they have families, and if they have, in which settlements they are. And we are trying to locate the family members or parents of these children when we receive them in Nakivale, and we reunify them with their families or relatives.
The number of refugee children without parents increased in this area in the period of June and July 2022. This followed outbreak of conflict between M23 rebels and DRC government forces. Nakivale refugee settlement is currently home to about 438 unaccompanied refugee children. These are part of the two Nyakawande holding and transit centers in Kisoro district.
So we identify foster families who are willing to take care of these children, and these foster families also are being supported to take care of these children.
The increase in the number of these defenseless refugee children comes in the wake of conflict, which has just resumed in the eastern DRC. As to who will save the situation is a question that comes in the midst of children suffering, parents displaced, as well as women and men disabled. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Ministry of Bunyoro Affairs has embarked on a campaign to decongest government-aided schools in the sub-region. Now, this campaign has seen Masindi municipality receive 280 million Uganda shillings for construction of a 2-classroom block administration office and a 5-stands pit latrine at Vigando Primary School.
A number of districts in Bunyoro sub-region are overwhelmed by overcrowded government-aided schools amidst limited space in the dilapidated structures. In Masindi district, Vigando Primary School has 7 classrooms with the school enrollment of over 1,000 pupils.
The population of the children here, since this school, there are very many villages around here, all their children study here, there is a population which is very great. Roughly here, we have classrooms which are not enough. Roughly, we don't have enough because I can't tell them one by one, but there are very few, as you have seen.
The school is also faced by limited staff and accommodation since most of teachers reside outside, resulting into late coming during bad weather conditions.
Sometimes because of weather conditions, some of these other teachers, they come late. And then you find that teaching now, lessons may not end, or syllabus does not end accordingly.
This prompted the Minister of Bunyoro Affairs to intervene and support Vigando Primary School with 280 million shillings plus 100 pieces of iron sheets for construction of a 2-classroom block, administration office and a 5-stanza pit latrine.
This money has already been sent. It is on the municipal's account. And the structure, the structural plan was developed, guided by Ministry of Education, because these days we don't build long structures. It is a 2-classroom block with an office and a store, then another 2-classroom block alone, and then the 5-stanza pit latrine, VIP, for the girls.
The school administration has welcomed the move as timely.
Really, the support which we have received, we got from the minister, 240 million. That's the first money which we got, and then after that we were able to get 40 million, and it is really totally going to be for building 2 blocks of new school blocks.
During the groundbreaking ceremony for the project, an ultimate time frame was issued and the contractor was warned against shoulder works.
Nobody should disturb the contractor that they are picking money from him in terms of commission. He went through on merit, and therefore he must implement the program on time, and we must demand for quality of this project.
Joseph Oko, UBC.
President Yoweri Museveni visited Katonga in Maokota County, which is part of the Luweero Triangle, in 1992. Now, in tonight's edition of Commander-in-Chief, we bring you what transpired. Take a look.
Welcome to Commander-in-Chief Files, and in this episode of CNC Files, we call forth what happened in 1992 when the Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Lieutenant General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, visited Katonga. He urged Ugandans to have food stored in granaries as a way of preparing for dry spells.
Enjala eno esinze kuva mu kutabeera n'ebyaji. Abantu ebibyaji babivaako. Ate n'abafuzi ab'omu byalo tebakyakubiriza abantu okukuuma reserve. N'olwekyo kyandibadde kirungi okutereka emmere eyo ey'ensibo mu buli maka. Mukole nga twali tukola edda okubeera n'ebyaji, so that if there is a bad season, we are not living from hand to mouth.
The President also thanked the Wananchi for having cooperated with them during the days of the struggle, besides River Katonga being the best natural barrier in their strategy to defeat the government forces then.
I would like to salute the contribution of the people of this area to our struggle against the dictatorship of Okello in 1985. I would like you to know that the defeat we inflicted on Okello's army in 1985 at Katonga here was decisive. We had been defeating Obote's army and Okello's army previously. That was not the first time we had defeated them, but the defeat at Katonga was decisive. In fact, I told our commanders that